Alrighty, cool, good. We're back for another class where today we're going to talk about lead management and what to focus on primarily. Give me an opportunity to cut my camera back on. Okay, cool. At one point, Mr. Kimball jumped in, then he jumped out. I don't know why. All right. So what we're going to focus on now, because at this point we should already have um, a list built, and how we're doing it are we're go ahead and importing things that we find. We're putting them already into Podio. Now, another way, if you wanted to be more organizing and extract more data, in a sense, because the more data you have, the better, right? They consider that being king in a sense. So the more data you have, you can do things like create spreadsheets um, of those properties, and having those spreadsheets of those properties is good too as well. But obviously, it's not something that you're going to print every day. But if you're a person who likes to sit on the computer and exercise those things of using um, your spreadsheets and everything else you have at your forefront, then why not? But for me, um, I do so many different things, so I use both. But right now, we're focused on what we have going on in Podio, which I like because at that in that sense, it creates a flow for you to be able to work and kind of stay maintained within what it is that we're doing. Want to add him here to the stream. So, what are you eating? Chicken, sir? Is it really good?
Yeah, yeah, I just
Awesome.
got to do it. Yeah, I was trying to got home kind of late a little bit, so I was trying to eat and shower real quick.
Oh, okay. Chicken looks really good. You was chewing, you know, all looking mouth just all in the camera. Just
Yeah, sorry about that. I got some good old fried chicken wings and I got some breasts right here that I was trying to tear up real quick.
oh, oh, okay, okay. From where? Was it from Popeyes? Did you make it?
Oh no, it was Tyson. I got it from the grocery store. I put it in the oven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't eat Popeyes and KFC like that.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, that ain't my style. So I'd rather go and get it myself. Either buy it from the grocery store and put it in the oven, or I prefer on the grill.
On the grill, yes, sir. On the grill, like Holyfield.
Yeah.
So, what I'm talking about is us now having an understanding that we are importing our properties into Podio, and I was saying that another way is us using Excel. You can use Excel and create spreadsheets to be able to put you, you know, in position to have more data for yourself, depending on however it is you choose um, to do.
Hmm.
Yes. But Podio is really good. I like the understanding and the workflow of what it is that it has in there. But what I did do, and Justin, I want to show you something real quick while we're on, because I want you to be able to
Okay.
have an understanding of what I'm talking about when I say import. What I mean when I say import, if you go to if you import in the lead or finding this right here, I'm gonna do away with this
Okay.
because now when you drop it in, you'll be able to choose if it's
Okay. I'll write that down real quick.
a location, if it's in Marietta, Dallas, Kennesaw, uh, the ones so far I went back on them when I went through them to check on them and everything.
Yeah.
I had looked through them, and if you see right here, I want to show you so you'll be able to see. I'm gonna go back and I gotta go back and do it. Um, I want to show you where they're updated. Well, here in the activity, you'll see where everything is. Comments that I left on everything. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make it a lot more bigger. Comments where I left. You can go back. Well, y'all see where you check some of those comments, but if you could see did you see the updates on what it is that we found? Like, let's check.
I'm sorry.
See, I went back. See, look, I went back and put in where you said they were located. If you did tell me
Yeah.
some of those,
Yeah.
but then I also went and put what should go and take place with them too as well. If you did look into those, some like this just that's me going through. I couldn't find this one.
Let's see. What's that? What was the address on 202 Park Street?
So,
That's
oh, you said Dallas is just an hour ago. So the ones, yeah. So everything it is that's been on. If you notice, like I said, I went back to them, and this is what I was just talking about, just putting in this right here, because this gives you the full address of everything. So you was just putting in this, right? And so when I get it and put it in, it's not gonna give me, it's other streets around the world, right? It's gonna bring up every street name that's East Memorial with 2503. So that's why I would have to be searching through to try to figure out. And then if it is Mary, it may be one in Marietta and in Dallas. So it's like, well, okay, well, which one is this one specifically? That's the whole thing, as in why. So when I'm able to look them up, so when if you notice, um, when I said I wasn't able to locate it at all, when I
Mhm.
type this in, it don't even bring up anything. It just brings up East Memorial Drive. It brings up that area, but that 2503, I don't know. We'll have to um, dig in further details on it, meaning that we'll have to try to pull that same address, and now from this point, go and check um, the tax county office and see
Mhm.
what's in the tax county office and what it is that they're saying on this address, or if this address is valid upon their recordings. If it's not valid upon their recordings and what it is they have, then maybe that address no longer stands, but that property still do. We'll just have to make touch bases and see who owns the property specifically with other ways of looking them up, right? Instead of
Okay,
just on that.
I got you.
So I would say in the next step, check and records. These things are good, but I went through every single one.
Hmm.
So we know where they stand. On some of them, a lot of them, we gotta re-verify the vacant if they're vacant or not, to determine if they're gonna be really good.
Okay.
And it was some that were you were saying that they were fixing up and they were new or they looked vacant. Based upon the numbers, they were recently brought, like people had just purchased them within the last 6 months.
Oh,
So but I will have in there, like, if you was wondering like why, like, this is a thumbs up on this one. This was a good one.
which one?
um 340 Old Clay Street.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's right around the corner from the shop.
Yeah, that's a good one. Based upon the numbers, it is. uh we don't know if it's vacant or not. I'm thinking that the homeowner still lives in there, or
Okay.
somebody still live in there. Um,
Okay.
do it look like somebody live in there when you went by
Nah,
there?
nah, it looked empty to me. I mean, because I didn't see no cars, I didn't see no anything like that. I looked for either cars or water hose or something else, the decorations in the yard, and it didn't look like nobody lived there to me.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, cool. So we could say it's vacant,
Okay.
and then once we touch bases, with them,
Okay.
we'll be able to see. But this was a really good one.
Okay.
That was a good one. Let's see. I know for a fact I couldn't get the address on this one. These two right here are turnkey ready, but I think, yeah, this one would be a good one.
Okay.
2499 Melody Lane.
Okay.
That one was solid. Bernie Street was solid.
Okay.
The Roosevelt one, that one was a duplex. So I
Yeah.
know for a fact that the homeowner don't live in there. So he may be liking the cash flow, in a sense. And if
Mm.
he's liking the cash flow, uh, then it may be tough to try to get him to sell. But we gotta see. Have you been over here to this one?
Yeah, that's right down. You go out. Let's see, go down Patterson Springs Road and take
Oh,
it
so
off,
it's
and then
still. Oh, it look empty, don't it?
yeah, I walked over there. And I didn't see anything in there, and it was empty to me. Then you go down to Crossover Fairground and take a right over there. What's the name of that big intersection that we usually cross? Take
41
Fairground. Yeah, no, Fairground. You go down Fairground and take a right at Full
Roseville
Lane.
Roswell.
No, not is that Roswell Road? It takes you all back over to Car Park. Well, yeah, that's Roswell Road. And you got that big church on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's back there in the back in that circle down on the right side.
Oh, you may got an empty side over there, or
Yeah,
well,
you
it
got
looked like
that
the
one.
mailbox look empty. Oh yeah, man, that might be a fire one, man. That was a good one. See, I thumbs up it. Um,
Okay.
as you can see. So hold on, but as far as that goes, that is good. Um, on your leads, some of them, like I said, once you go through them, you'll see what it is that
Okay.
I had talked about in some. All right, now
Okay.
so when we talk about subject to, that's I want to talk before I get into the lead management and everything. I wanted to go over those things early on, but uh the first thing first is, do everybody understand the basics of structuring the bill?
For the most part, yeah. But I mean, I got a general idea. I understand it, but once I start doing it and actually get a deal for myself and actually do it, then I'll get a better understanding. Right now, I'm just going off general knowledge, not any experience.
Okay. Do at this point, do everybody know how to explain what wholesaling is?
For myself, I got a general idea, but I don't know what to say fully. That's something on my part that I get better at. I got to get better at my knowledge and understanding. But as far as knowing what to say, having a full idea, and being able to explain to them if they ask me questions in return, what's this, what's that, etc. I'm not at that capability yet to be able to give them that information because right now I don't know myself.
Understood. The basics of the basics of wholesaling. I mean, some of the key terms that we have: ARV. Do you understand what ARV is?
No, sir.
Have you ever written that down so far within your notes of us going over early on in the beginning?
I know you had mentioned it a while back, but I haven't, like I say, I haven't read it. I haven't looked it up and then gotten a general understanding of what that is. But I do have it written down.
Right. That is very important, understanding the ARV, because that determines what it is that when you find properties and you're out scope searching for these properties, also look around the areas and what's around it. Look and see what's around them too as well. And if you see anything that's updated and that's new, that's on that street,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fitting the subject property of what it is that you just found,
Mm-hmm.
then that's good. That's good news on our behalf, because that lets us know, hey, there's some activity going on over there, and somebody may have just reset the market over there, based upon what it is that they sold their property for. So that ARV, after repair value, is very important. That's what ARV is. Um, After
After
repair value.
value. Write that down. After repair value.
Yes, the
Oh,
after repair value is very important, ARV.
okay.
And that's going to determine your comps too as well. So anytime you're looking for your comparables, you're going to base your ARV off of your comparables. So That is very important that you know what ARV is. Now the next thing, that is one way. Wholesaling is one traditional way of how to try to strike up a deal. But let's say we come across properties that have, uh, let's see, mm, a mortgage on their property. In our case, some of these properties it is that we have, and some of the leads that we have, some of the leads that both Justin you have, some leads it is that Nikisha have. These some leads have loans on the properties. So in the event, right, that wholesaling may not work through the negotiation status, there is another form and way to be able to do a deal. This is if the property is vacant on I suggest the property be vacant when you make this approach to the homeowners. And Justin, we went over this in the last class where we talked about sub two,
Yeah.
purchasing the properties subject to the existing mortgage, right?
Hmm.
So when we're talking about sub two, sub two, you have to understand and know that hey, I want to make sure that I don't put myself out of negotiations when I'm trying to negotiate my sub two status.
Hmm.
I don't want to put myself out of negotiations when I'm trying to negotiate my sub two status. I don't want to do that. So, and what I mean by that is, say for instance, if you have a solid number that you want to uh, give to the homeowner. Say, for instance, if the property is worth $35,000, okay, you got $35,000 mortgage on the prop. No, you got a $35,000 mortgage on the property. Um, I'm willing to offer you $35,000 on the property, right? But the thing is this: say they have another 4,000 in liens on the property. Or you could say 8,000 in liens. $4,000 to $8,000 in liens. You verify it, that is $8,000 in liens. Now, they say, well, in order for you to be able to get this property, they looking for a down payment and then maybe perhaps going sub two. How would you configure that when you try to put this down on paper to write a deal with them? If you all, if they send you back in negotiation status and say, hey, I'm willing to take a deposit on the property on top of me, you taking over the payments and say their payments is $600 a month on the mortgage. How would you put that down on paper for yourself to be able to understand what it is exactly you would be doing and giving them as a buyer? If they ask for a down payment on top of you taking over the mortgage payments and a house is worth $35,000, how would you be able to explain to yourself how you're going to structure that deal? How can you make everything make sense to yourself? Like explain it back to me of what it is that I just said, of what it is that the homeowner wants.
So what I do?
Based upon the numbers. Go ahead.
So they want a down. So the house is selling for 35,000. They want a down payment. And you're saying that you want to. They want to pay $600 a month.
Yeah, they mortgage payment is $600 a month.
Okay, and the house is selling for 35,000. The mortgage payment is 600. So I'm guessing in my mind, I would turn around and wholesale the house, and then I would. Well, actually, no. Let me reschedule that. I would.
Okay, let me start over. Hold on. Let me start over. Let me start over completely, because I don't want you to um get confused, because this would be a wholesale deal. Period. It's going to be a wholesale deal, right?
Mm,
But you're going to get this property subject to the existing mortgage. So listen to the numbers of what I said early on. They want $35,000. I mean, they don't want $35,000. They owe $35,000 on the house.
right.
They have $8,000 in liens.
Right.
They want, in order for you to be able to do the deal, in order for you came to them and asked them, can you get the property subject to the existing mortgage? Because they do have a mortgage that's going on and they're making payments. Their mortgage is $600 a month, right?
Right.
Based upon you having these numbers as an investor, because we're not playing the side of the investor now. We're in the second half of the course now. Playing the side of the investor, this is a wholesale deal, and you're purchasing this property subject to the existing mortgage. With them having $8,000 in liens, she has a $600 a month payment that she's making, and she wants a down payment in order to be able to give you the deal. How much? And I mentioned this to you all early on. And I'm gonna rephrase this question. I mentioned this to you all early on. This was probably 2 classes ago. Um, if not, yeah, 2 classes ago when everybody was in class. How much would the down payment be on this that you would give her on this home to get started?
The down payment. Yeah.
You're the investor.
The investment.
In the role of the investor. You the cash buyer. Because you have to think with the cash buyer.
I want to say it was 8,000.
Yep, her liens are $8,000. And no, Nikisha, I can't do it on a whiteboard because, say for instance, if you walk up to a homeowner and you're just conversating with them and they're explaining to you what their situation is right then and there, and you go back home and have to go to the office to structure up that deal, that is what you would have to do. You would have to go and structure up that deal. Yeah, you are. That's why we're practicing to get you there. So what I mean by that is the down payment. I want you to understand how to configure a down payment, not to do anything that's super mathematical, but just to configure a down payment. A down payment, a down payment on this, a 30 she owes $35,000 on the mortgage. She's making $600 a month payments. She got $8,000 in liens. This is simple. You don't even have to do any math. how much would you offer her in a down payment? If we're doing sub 2, this don't require any math.
Was it 70 cents on 100?
That's how we will wholesale the property. 70 cent on the dollar. That's how we wholesale the property. But when we get these properties sub 2, when I explained subject to a couple of classes ago, last class, I talked about what it is that you would offer homeowners as down payments based upon their situations that they have. What would be the offer on this property? This is very easy. I'm gonna help y'all. So if she have 8,000 in liens, right?
Yeah.
In order for me to be able to get the deal with her, if I'm negotiating, I'm going to tell her, hey, homeowner, I will give you $8,000 towards the liens on the property for you to be able to clear up title. That's the most that I can give you for me to be able to take over payments, right? Or say, for instance, if you really truly being generous that day, you could get this property you could give her $10,000, right?
Yeah.
8,000 to pay off the liens, 2,000 to put into her pocket, right? So at this point, the property still can be going for $35,000, but at this point, you could tell her, I will offer you $45,000 for the property, right? Because at this point, you're gonna try to make your money back.
Right.
As an investor for your down payment. You're gonna try to get this back, right?
Right.
So if you tell her, okay, then I will offer you 10,000 on the property. I know you owe $35,000 on the home, right? I'm not gonna knock off that 35,000. I'm not gonna knock that off. When I go and I put me a tenant in there, I'm gonna offer that 45 to them as a lease purchase option. I'm an investor at this point. We're not wholesalers. We're thinking from investors. So we're gonna offer our tenant a lease purchase option for $45,000, right?
Right.
But you're gonna tell them, hey, when they come and get the property, as an investor, yes, if you have 10,000 to pay for it, you can do that within using credit cards, right? You don't have to have cash. But if you have cash from wholesale deals that you did, right? You can now offer within your next wholesale deal, you can now offer that homeowner the $10,000 cash, pay her 10,000 cash. She make sure that she uses 8,000 towards her liens, towards the property. That's in the contract, right?
Right.
And then when you get ready to offer your property, you will do it contingent upon how you structured this deal. So if you structured this deal subject to, you will then just have your tenant in there and then offer them the lease you will offer them the option to purchase after you've cleared off the 35,000 and obtained title. So if that's within 3 years, I mean, I don't know about doing the math, however many years or whichever the case may be, obviously you're going to have them paying more than the $650 they paying in rent. It's going to be double that. And so the faster
13.
that they knock it down and get it to a point to where maybe you can cover and pay off the rest of the money that you would have saved from other deals that you have once they get down to another sweet number, maybe around 13,000, 10,000, or something like that, to where you can use that to pay it off, because you're going to get that money back, because you're going to create nothing but cash flow for another for that, whatever it was that the homeowner was getting to pay off the mortgage, you finna get that in full, paying you back on top of, that purchase option. So with that purchase option, you could still extend that purchase option even upwards of more than the 45,000 at that point. If you really going to make that money, if you know you're going to invest 20,000 into that property with the down payment, the upfront down payment, and then on the back end, once it gets down to a certain number, this is where you got to understand how you're going to play the numbers when you're dealing with that money. If you're going to sit there and wait to get that money on the back end, to use another 10,000 on the back end to pay it off, understand and know you went $20,000 into the deal, or you $20,000 into the deal, you need to up that number from 45 to maybe 65, 75. And you want it to be in the area to where you know you can make that money, that type of money, when you go to sell it to another investor, to get the cash flow, or to sell it to that tenant. If you want to sell it to that tenant, if you're going to sell it to that tenant, you sell it to that tenant at that good number, and you could charge them more. Why? Because they willing to make payment, and if you willing to accept, you know, payments on a home until they pay it off, then by all means do it, but do it with taxing them. You know what I mean? Because we in a day of an age where the market is now trying to come back up. You know, it's an investor's world right now, and it's very difficult for a lot of people. So you got a lot of people who trying to sell their homes and sell them at the highest price point. And for one, the people who are winning in this game is the people who have cash money, because a lot of deals that's being sold are cash money deals.
Mm.
Um, so how much will monthly payments be for your tenant? So say for instance, if they charging $600, you would want your tenant to pay 1,200, because you got to understand that you're gonna take ownership of this property, and when you take ownership of this property, you're willing to put money into it to make it turnkey ready for your tenant. So that means you're gonna update some painting, you're gonna do some painting in there, right? You're gonna update the painting, you're gonna update the toilets if it needs to, fix it up, make it look livable. So you're gonna put a little bit of money in there, but the thing is, you're gonna be getting all this back when you're charging them, you know, on that rent. So if you charging them, if you put nice money in there and they got nice things, on top of the land and everything like that, depending on that area, you could charge them 1,500, 1,400 in rent, and people will pay that. Especially to live in a nice area. And sometimes you have families that are two income households, um, which makes it a whole lot more easier to be able to land those type of people, because they willing to pay that money too. So you gotta understand the area. Do you have a property that's in a family driven type area? If so, you can buffer your margins a little bit and understand. You got to know, you as an investor need to know what's around you, the area, the people, the way people are living in that area. Every single thing, it matters, because it matters with cost. It matters with cost too as well, because all of that plays in what you can charge people and what you can't charge people. Um, it does in a sense. It shouldn't, but it do. That's why it's good to have HOAs and things of that sort, because they help keep the value of that area that you're living in up. They help keep it up. So if you're looking to, say for instance, if I wanted to rent out my house, right? If I wanted to rent out my house, I could charge full value. Why? Because the area, it's a nice, beautiful area. Same same thing can apply to any property it is that you have. You want to make sure that it's in a, you know, a really solid area where you can charge maximum amount for rent, because that's how you're going to create that good cash flow for yourself. If you're trying to extract some of that money for saving, to store into a saving, or if you're trying to hurry up and quickly pay off a loan. Now, the one thing I want y'all to write this down too as well, that you have to understand and know, and a lot of people won't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. When we doing deals like this that's subject to, you better listen. You got to understand, at this point, you're going to be the one acquiring the deals, because sometimes you can acquire these type deals and not have to pay nothing as a down payment to the homeowner, right? They just say automatically, hey, just take over payments. You feel me? And just go ahead, like take over payment. So you you automatically go ahead and just put you somebody in there, right? Because you could afford the whatever it is that they paying, the 600, the 500 or whatever they paying. You can afford that, right? For a little while until you get you somebody in there. Now you got you somebody in there, right? So you at this point, what if something happens like the toilet mess up, right? The
Mhm.
plumbing, you have a plumbing issue, right? Who's going to cover that? Have y'all thought about that for a second? Like y'all didn't nobody thought to ask me that question, like, hey, if we gonna be the ones getting these deals subject to and we playing landlord, are we held liable for things that may happen in the home, even though we are the ones who are making the payment on the house with the homeowner, but the loan is still staying in what? What does the loan name still stay in first, Justin? On the
Mine,
who?
it'd be in mine because I'm the one renting it out, right?
No, negative. If we paying the homeowner $35,000 and we're taking over payments on her mortgage, the mortgage is going to stay in her name. We're going
Uh,
to make payments until it's paid off so she can receive what? We talked about this in the last class. She's going to receive the credit, right? We want
right,
her to receive the credit, the benefit, right? And
right,
then she still receive the benefit. Therefore, her credit don't get destroyed or anything like that. And then we turn around, in return, we get title, and then now we own it, right? It's in our hands. We own
mm,
title. So that's actually a really solid way to be able to nail a deal if you're able to come across ones to where you don't have to put any money down. But nowadays, in the world we live in, people they money hungry. You feel me? So they gotta have a dollar. When it pertains to something. You know, but I promise you, it is some that's out there that will blow your kahunas to have you thinking like, ooh, sweet. But yes, the loan stays in the homeowner's name.
on my name, and then
Go ahead.
so the loan stays in the homeowner's name until they pay it off, and then until we pay it off, until they pay it off, and it goes in, and it goes to me because I'm the one that took it over.
Right.
So once so they're basically paying us, they're basically paying for something that I own. And then once they pay it off, then it comes to me because they've got it paid off. So it becomes mine.
Yes. It's already theirs, right? It's
Right.
already theirs. We trying to get them to give us the deal, right? So
Right.
since it already belongs to them, hold on, I'm trying to see. Yeah, so if it since it already belongs to them, the thing is you want to be able to pay it off for them because the thing is we're looking for people who are in bad situations, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. They got to be in a bad drastic situation, right?
Right.
That's why I said the lady had to have the $8,000 in liens, right?
Right.
She had 8,000 in liens on the
Right.
property. So when you approach these people with this type of deal, understanding that they're in a situation, if you can help get them out of the situation and
It
then they
benefits
get
you.
the benefit in return, that's how you can obtain the property. But the thing is, you want to keep the loan in their name so that they can receive the benefit.
I got you. That makes
Because
sense.
we are here to what? Solve problems.
Solve problems, and I got you.
That is the main thing. We're problem solvers. That's how we become winners in this game. And it creates long-term wealth. We're talking about generational wealth, right? Because
Right.
if you could structure up generational wealth type deals within doing this. Like I kid you not. Like you just have to understand the language, the terminology, and what it is that you can do to help solve the problem and the issue it is that the person may have based upon their home. That's why I told you I'm in a season right now moving into pre-foreclosures, right? And I'm finna eat them up and tear them up alive and turn them into Christmas gifts.
Mhm.
Because it's that time,
I
But the thing is, you have to understand and know when, where, and how to execute and put these deals together. Um, so I'm trying to teach you all how to be able to see something based upon the numbers real quick, and you not have to do no math. It's not always about seeing. It's not always about having pen and piece of paper right there. Sometimes you have to have it right here. You have to. When it comes to real estate, I kid you not, you have to, because you have to be able to. Sometimes those opportunities can quickly pass you by, and another person can be able. They can harp on your opportunity that you just had because you was too slow to be able to counteract on what it is that they wanted to maybe do within a deal. So what I'm trying to show you is that hey, as an investor, if you come across something that's like this, let's take one of our properties, right? And I'm finna look them up as a whole. Give me something. Give me a property on. Somebody throw an address at me. Give me an address. We're gonna look something up. Okay. Hell, we'll use this one right here. 1532 Rosewood. I will use this one. This one easy. It's big numbers, so um let's play with the big numbers a little bit. So here we go. 1532 Rosewood Circle, right?
hmm
So 580,000. Um, let's say he owes $580,000. Oh God, Jesus boy. Whew. That'll be forever to try to get something like that paid off. This a duplex. Let's do a single family. But this is a duplex. We
Okay.
would break this down. Um, and I don't feel like doing it to that magnitude. Let's get another one. Let's uh, Let's do for sale, and let's do some small numbers because max will say 50,000. Okay, here we go. There's some lot, land or whatever, right? But we could use $25,000 as a just a number to play with. So, say for instance, we got $25,000 that the homeowner wants to offer us on it. Well, they don't want to offer us this. We got $25,000 that we see it is that they owe on a mortgage, right?
Right.
We see 25. So at this point, we understand that we look them up. We see they add 25 is our number of what they owe on the mortgage, but they also have $7,000 in liens, right?
Right.
So in total, if you was to purchase this property, how much would you be paying for the property?
Right.
32,000. So that's
Thousand.
if you was to get it sub two, right? So if we want to do sub two, we will offer them $32,000, right? On the deal. We'll offer them $32,000 on the deal. And then when we offer them $32,000, we're gonna say we can do maybe perhaps $7,000 down. That's the lien. Or you could do $8,000 and give them like you could do $8,000, or you could get and give them $1,000 in a pocket if you're feeling kind of generous, or whichever the case may be. But you will do that in hopes of taking off those liens, paying them off automatically, right? And then you're gonna have, you see, she pays 500 a month on her mortgage. You would take that over and be paying $500 a month. You're gonna give her $8,000 down, right?
Right.
And that's gonna take care of those liens. So you still supposed to be receiving $25,000 from a tenant to pay that off, and you could be charging them in hopes of you will offer 35. Yes, 35 is good. But me, I'm a little bit savvy. I understand and know that, hey, I just acquired a property for this amount of money, $32,000 in a sense, when you really look at it, because of the down payment, right?
Right.
Um, $32,500 a month. Say for instance, you got a tenant in there, they paying $1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
They pay that off for you, right? You get it
Right.
paid off. You offer them, you done fixed up the home, before they done moved in it and everything. The home already fixed up and everything. Say for instance, what if the value in that area went up? I'm just asking. You would
Mm-hmm.
invest in the value, the value in that area just went up. And you kept your property like up to par because in your contract, and we're gonna cover contracts. Uh, what's today? Wednesday, Friday. we're going to cover these contracts, right? And um I
Sorry,
want to talk
I
about
was
how
trying to get the comments.
what was that?
I was trying to get in the comments. So I'm gonna click on when I click on comments, it kicks me out. But if the value went up, that means the value of the home, and to me personally, the value of the home would go up, and I would go up on the rent.
Right. Well, this is what I was about to say. If the value of the home going up before you make this purchase as an investor, you're going to be looking to see if the value of that area is going up or down, right? Up or
Right.
down, up or down. You want to know. Um, Once you see that that's an area where the value is going up,
Mm-hmm.
and at this point, when you do offer to your homeowner, you just acquired, think about this. You just acquired a property for $32,000 because of a person that was in a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean her house in the area is worth $32,000 of what you purchased the property for. That does not mean that. That's just her turning over title to you at $32,000 based upon your contract.
Mm-hmm.
Period. But the property value of her home can still be anywhere upwards of over 100 and some odd thousand. And the reason why I used 100 and some odd thousand is because we're talking about a $25,000 uh play that you just probably came off of. So the value in the area, if it's somewhere around that amount, I'm just saying if it's somewhere, say if the after repair value of homes is somewhere around $150,000 in that area, then guess what? You just got a property for $32,000, and you could turn around and sell that same property for 150,000 based upon the area of where you live in. You don't have to sell at the price of what you acquired the property for to the buyer. Your buyer is going to be the person who you want to sell and maximize the most profit off of. Now, say for instance, if you have a tenant in there, you're going to let the tenant pay off the rent, right? I mean, pay off the mortgage. Now, after they pay off the mortgage, you can include in your contract, once you know a certain time frame that they're going to be paying off, that they're going to pay off that mortgage, you could put in the contract, say for instance, if it takes 3 years, right? You know that mortgage will be paid off in 3 years. You could put in your contract and say, hey, after the fourth year of you living here, you can take over, not take over. You can purchase the property, right? And then at that point, they're gonna be like, oh wow, like I could purchase the property, like I could rent to own it. And then you could tell them yes, but then you can tell them what you're gonna offer them full value, right? You could say $150,000. You're already, and you can tell them you're already. They're gonna be like, well, what about the money it is that I pay for it? You could be like, no, we already deducted the house. You could tell them the house is valued at 180,000. I don't know, hell shit. You have to be able to kick the bobo a little bit in the game and tell them because you it's all about negotiations, right? This is where your negotiation tactics got to come in at, where you kick the bobo and you could say you're already 180 in. I mean, you're already 30 in or whatever, however long it is they've been making payments towards you or whatever the case may be. You could tally all of that up, right? And you can tell them, hey, like with that amount being included, this is why I'm offering you this price right here. Because I'm taking that with that being accounted for within the deal. it don't necessarily have to account for that within the deal because you know that you use their money to pay off of a loan, but technically it did kind of account for it in the deal in a sense because it's the reason why you got the deal. So you wouldn't technically be lying. You know what I mean? It's just that the numbers are going to be a lot different once you set the deal up with them and they do a lease purchase option. Because once they enter into that option, the numbers change at that point. Because now the house is now $150,000 that they're purchasing it from you from. They were paying in rent probably $1,000 a month now in rent. Now since they entered into the purchase option with you to buy it off of you, guess what? The numbers just went up. $1,800 a month, $2,000 a month at 150,000, and you finna receive this cash flow consistently. The number gonna double. It's gonna double because they trying to purchase the property off of you by renting to own at this standpoint. So now you can charge double if you would like, or if you just one of those people who just, oh, I'm so generous and just wants to. If you have an elderly person or something in their crib and they just been making that payment of that $1,000, and they say they want to purchase the property for their grandbaby or something. I don't know. Down the years, they got the cash. You could still offer them $150,000, but you can offer them $150,000 and allow them to pay you through financing, right? Because a lot of elderly have great credit, right, to where they can do those things, and you can be able to receive your money and be able to keep going. But if you are doing a deal like this, guys, understand and know that the job before you do this deal, the person has to have a problem, a situation, a real bad situation, because anybody ain't gonna give you this structure right here when you try to structure up a deal with them. Regularly, they're not gonna entertain it. But this person has to have an issue going on. If you saw that issue for them, meaning that they have a extreme amount in liens, you can solve that issue for them and find somebody to cover the cost of that. Then you're in good condition because you can structure up the deal to where you can obtain that credit. Uh, and what I mean by that credit is the deed itself. You can structure it up to where you can obtain the deed yourself and walk away with the property, and then you can now do whatever at your convenience. You could keep the tenant in there and receive the cash flow, or you could turn around, kick the tenant out, and or turn around and sell to somebody with them understanding and knowing that you have a tenant in there and this is what it is that they're paying, but you could still sell your property at full value at 150,000 if you want to. But the thing is, you're gonna make a lot of money when you acquire a property like this because you're acquiring at the lowest standpoint of what's owed on the deal, and then you may just have to pay a down payment that's a little bit more than what the normal would be, but that's only to cover whatever the liens may be to clear title for that homeowner. And then you can maybe like give them like I said, an extra $1,000 or 2,000 in their pocket with a smile on their face. You know what I mean? That's important. So So, Justin, explain subject two, since you're falling asleep.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Explain subject two.
Sorry about that. I was dozing off. I was trying to fight through it. Um, um,
Matter of fact, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna make it a little bit more easier. We're gonna make it a little bit more easier, right? So I want to go to our screen here. Let's say we want to acquire this, and we get it. We get this property subject to, and we find out that this property has about $6,000 in mechanical liens. It has about another $4,000 in general tax liens, delinquent tax liens.
So 11,000.
How much would we pay this homeowner to obtain the property? And then how much would, and say for put on there that they're charging about $400 in monthly rent on the deal. How long? This is what I want to know. How much would you offer the homeowner? I want to know how much will you have your tenant in the property and what they will be paying for on loan to be able to pay this off.
Actually, I would probably offer him 50.
How many years will it take to pay it off?
I would offer him 50,000.
Why? No. You're not offering nobody anything. Right now, you're trying to structure up the deal so that you can know the numbers. So if they are, you're trying to figure out how much you're going to get a tenant in there, how much they're going to cover the rent, and how long it's going to take them to pay off this loan. That's the number. That's what I want you to figure out. So if they owe $30,000 on the property and they have $4,000 in general $4,000 in mechanical liens, $6,000 in delinquent tax liens.
That's 10,000 total.
I would hope they're making $400 a month on their rent, on a mortgage payment, not their rent, but they paying mortgage $400 a month. They owe $30,000 left on that. They're gonna let you do sub 2, but you want to get you a tenant in there, right?
Yeah.
And the max rent you can charge is $1,000. I'll give you that. The max rent you could charge is $1,000. How long would it take you to pay off this loan to this homeowner? And how much is you gonna put down on your down payment? I did not. I'm excited. Okay.
I would say 10,000 as a down payment.
Okay.
So 10,000 as a down payment, and I raise, and then $800 a month for the rent.
You want the rent to be $800 a month?
Double it.
So you doubled the rent, even though max rent can be $1,000, right?
Well, if you do $1,000 and it's $30,000 loan, $30,000. So if you do 1,000 a month, that's 12,000. So that'd be about 3 years. So $1,000 times $1,000 every month, that's $12,000. So 12, 24, 36, that's $36,000 in 3 years. So it'll be about 2.5 years. It would take them to pay it.
It would take them to pay it off, right?
Yeah, so $1,000
So you
a
would
month.
want to offer max rent instead of. So how long would it take if it took them like you said, at $800 a month.
$800 would be 3.5 years.
So would you want it? How fast are you looking to pay this homeowner off so that you can obtain the property?
As quick as I can. So it'd have to
So
be
how much would you
$1,000.
charge them max rent, right? At 1,000, right?
Yeah, so I'd have to charge them max rent $1,000 a month. So it'd be 3 years. Well, right at mom would say 3 years. But at max 3 years.
At max around 3 years. But I want to get it exact. 12,000, 12,000. That's
2
24,
years,
right?
2 years, 6 months.
2 years and 6 months. So in 2 years and 6 months, you're gonna have title. So you're gonna need to know 2 years and 6 months. So when you talk to the seller, you're gonna tell them, hey, in 2 years and 6 months, I will have this loan. I promise to have this loan, paid off or whatever, at this time frame. Why? Because you understand and know at 2.5 years, in 2.5 years, you plan on having somebody in there to cover that cost for you, right?
Right.
So how will you then, because now you're gonna have to create another contract with your tenant. What would you then put in your contract to your tenant when you go to sell to the tenant, when you offer, the property to the tenant? Because it's gonna take you 2.5 years to pay off the property, right?
Right.
When will you offer them the lease purchase option?
Yeah.
When will you offer them the lease purchase option?
Up front. Because I need to be able to, they need to know I need it up front. So I would say up front, you got 2 years and 6 months to pay this off at $1,000 a month.
Keisha, help them out. When will you?
Well, thinking about his thought process, I would, because my thing is, you're not guaranteed to keep that same tenant in there for 12 months. So me personally, probably would say, hey, if you stay here for X amount of time, I would give you the option to lease, purchase, or rent to own after you've been here for X amount of time. So that I honestly would probably say after you've been here for whatever we said, 2 years and 6 months, then I would give you the lease purchase option. So that way that will give them an incentive to stay in your property, because no one has to stay in your property and rent it out for the 2.5 years that you need them to stay there.
We understood, but right. The question is, when will you offer the LPO to the home?
I would do it up front to give them an incentive to stay that whole time.
We know that, but what I'm
That's
saying
the
is,
answer.
when, meaning like the time frame of when they will be allowed to enter into
Once it will convert over
yes,
after my 2.5 years or whatever, 2 years and 6 months. After
years
2 years and 6 months, I probably would just do it even 3
exactly.
years. I would do it even 3 years, and then just to
That's
be greedy, the extra 6 months. You might as well. The extra 6 months. 6 months go by quick.
You said 3 years. But yeah, right. That's what I would do. In 3 years, because I would just go ahead and receive that cash flow, right? But the thing is, in 3 years, you will offer them that option in year 3, right? Because you could do year terms with them, depending on how you break it down. I like to break down my deals. Man, I wish I can send you up. Let me see if I could find real quick an email where I sent a breakdown to a homeowner. Give me 1 second.
But would you agree that you would put the option out there up front to give them an
Of
incentive
course,
to
that's
stay
what
in
you're
the
supposed to
property?
do. It's going to be in the contract. It has to be upfront if it's in the contract. It
Oh,
can't be in the back end because you ain't creating another contract on no back end. You creating one contract with the
okay.
home with that person who's going to be your tenant. Once they come in, you want to let them come in and already know, hey, you can come in and you can just rent this property. But if you are ever wanting to own the property, I'm a little bit different with my if you want to own the property, you can give them the option to purchase it from you in year 3, and then they're gonna say, well, how much can I purchase this property for you from? Then that's when you can offer the full value amount of whatever it is that property would be at the time. So you want to make sure you understand and know that in year 3 they can either purchase it outright, right? You can give them that option to purchase it outright, or they can reconstruct and do a significant down payment, maybe like 20% down, and then just like a new conventional loan, but you basically pay the bank
So
20%
explain
down, and then just
how
let
would you
them
get
make
the
payments to
20%
you,
down?
huh? Like a new conventional, because you have to. It's a new conventional is you have to have 20% up front in order to
No, no, no.
receive
I'm
it.
saying from your tenant. So you would say, okay, after year 3 of renting, the first month, let's say is January to December. January 1 of start of year 4 is when you're going to pay your 20% plus your regular
If
rent that
this is
you normally pay
if this a person who wants to
to
purchase
switch
out, like
over.
say they want to purchase outright, like up front, they say, oh, I want to go ahead and buy it from you, but I want at that point you have to determine on how you want to receive your cash. You can lowball yourself, or you can just traditionally play it the way that the bank would play it.
Which
Play
is
it the way that loan companies will play it. It depends on you and your heart. You know what I mean? That's why I'm not here to tell you no numbers that's going to be solid, but I'm just here to tell you how I will do business. And I do business like, hey, listen, the number is what it is. You feel me?
so basically if you say, okay, well you give me
It's
20% down, because
twenty percent
they're
down.
not getting financed through a bank.
They're
Or if
not
they
getting
do,
financed through the bank, so it got to be cash.
or if they do decide to take out a loan through the bank, that's on them. You have nothing to do with that to get that 20%
If
down.
they do decide to finance and take out a loan through the bank and purchase from me, that's okay. Because guess what? They can do that. I have
Yeah, you
title.
have nothing to do with that. It's still
I have
your
nothing to do
property.
with that. They could
Right.
take that route. But also you got to understand and know that some people may not want to go to the bank and they got
Of
the
course.
cash. You feel me? They got the cash up front. And if they got the cash up front, you got to think everybody pocket ain't your pocket.
That's true. But if you
Everybody
going back to
pocket
what you said about
ain't your
selling it
pocket.
based on what the value of the home and what it really is, so you just took a $30,000 property and turned around and now I'm selling it to you for $150,000. Most people, if you had to go this route anyway,
They don't know about the $30,000 come up you
right? But I'm
just
just
did on
saying, if once you get to, I'm ready to buy the house, so now I'm selling it to you for $150,000. If I had to go this route anyway, most people don't have $150,000 to give to you up front. So basically, either they're going to take out a loan, or they're going to make the payments every month until they pay you $150,000.
Yeah, but sometimes you gotta understand and know everybody who got money also they rather they you gotta think about it. Who it's people who pay $3,000 just to rent. So
You're
that
right.
means they sitting on dumb bags that if they gotta just make a 20% down payment, because a lot of people can cover a 20% down of 150,000. It's a lot more than you think. The thing is we like to think, damn, ain't nobody else out here making no money except that's us. That's the people who we're around. But I'm telling you, it's people who rent and live up let me tell y'all something. I used to do Postmates, right? I used to do Postmates. Postmates is like this. It's just like Uber Eats, you know what I'm saying? But it's like the white version, right? Because it's more West Coast Cali type people who use this. So over here, when they try to blow it up, it's not as big and popular as Uber Eats or DoorDash or all the other competitive entities are. But this one right here, Postmates, the people who I was going to were like your rich white people who were living in rented communities. And but you can tell they could either be in there doing work, or I ain't no telling what they reason of being there, but you could tell they was there and they was there for a good minute on how they were living. But these are rented communities, and but they're making good money in the areas that they live in. So we will be surprised as a people as to what it is that can be out there. But the thing is, you can't focus on what that person may be doing. It's all about your offer to them, because you still going to structure the deal up multiple ways to be able to execute if you're going to sell the property or not. But say for instance, if they may take on, you're going to give them multiple options. You're not just going to give them one option. What I mean by multiple options to be able to obtain the payment of the property. Meaning, like, if they don't do the cash up front, say if they want to keep making payments, and if they never miss the payment, because you got their history, you know the type of person that they are, and if they could make their payments on time, you know what they have going on. So based upon their payment history, and if they're a really good solid tenant, then guess what? Why would you sit there and be worried and focused on the fact that if they can't make if they want to do if they can't do 20% down or not? I will never be worried. I'm going to give every option within an option on the agreement and let them choose their destiny as to how they want to obtain this property, because they're the ones entering into the contract to make the purchase. So if they decide to do, hey, I want to go ahead and put 20% down, and pay you off that way, why not?
You're
Say
right.
for instance, if it's a person who all right, then say their situation and what they make an hour, and it's a person who's like middle class or something in a sense, right? Because you may have a different property. You charge them 1%, 1% of their purchase price. Is that more reasonable, Miss Keisha? 1% instead of 20% down on the
Yeah, I mean,
2080?
you can't, like you said, you can't assume anybody's pocket. So if you say 20%, if my base is 20% and they say, I can't afford that right now, then yeah, we might be able to negotiate. Okay, well, what about 1%? Or, like you said, if they're
But
never late, you don't know. It all depends
you
on
want
your
to
tenant.
give them as many options. Give
Right.
them give them the option. Don't give them one option, but let them choose. You as the investor know that, hey, they can acquire this by multiple ways, right? You're gonna find the three best ways,
I was just
and
about to
you
say
want to
I'd probably
give
give
them
them 3 options to choose from.
you want to get yes, you want to give them three options to choose from. You want to give them the best option, which is that 20% down. Is always better when you the more you put down, the faster you can pay it off, right? That's
Hmm.
always the key, right? That 20% down. But say for instance, like you said, if it's people who can't necessarily make that amount of money, or make that make they don't make that amount of money or have that amount of money saved, you can set up two more deals to where you have your how you know how it is when you look at certain programs or whatever, how they have three tiers. They have the free basic tier, right? Then
Hmm.
they have like the most popular tier, and then they have the best value, right? The highest one, where you'll be paying the highest cost. It's basically the same thing that we would do here. Um, Charge them, you know, 1% of the purchase price, um, 20% down with the 2080, and then the down payment. But you could change that down payment if you know they're gonna pay. If you show them 1%, or whichever the case may be, if they choose that 1%, they're gonna understand and know, hey, at 1%, this is what that down payment amount is going to be, and it's going to be based upon their payment history. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to. It's up to you on how you structure your deals and play the bank. So, Mr. Kimball, if you ever acquire your property like this, and you have to do the numbers, you want to make sure, man, you stay hip on numbers, because you really solid when it comes to adding and subtracting and doing multiplication and stuff in your head. But when it comes to like dealing with numbers, and you trying to make sure people are going to be paying rent, mortgage, and stuff like that, you want to stay on top of their payment history. You want to be organized and know when they make their payment every month, however they making the payment to you.
I got you.
Account type of account you got it going into.
No, to mention back on what Ms. Keisha was saying on the 20% offering two options or three options. Why not just offer half? So say for instance 20%, but you'd be wrong just offering say 10%.
You can offer what you want to offer.
Because I'm
Like I
thinking
said,
you can't go wrong with half.
But
Like you
half
say, you
of
want to
what?
pay it off as soon as possible.
So if you offer them half, I mean, offers them something that's going to be logical and what makes sense. Like, meaning, like, that's why I say I traditionally keep my numbers based upon how the bank play their numbers. Because, if it's not at the same amount, it's going to be lowered like a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's still going to be in ways structure of how a bank would operate, within how they would receive payments through loan. You want to set yourself up to be able to be the same as that way, when you're doing a deal. So like, you don't want to say, I'm gonna offer you half on the of $150,000 down. Like, you mean as a down payment?
Yeah.
Like they could have down in the down payment. No, you don't want to do that, because I mean, you can, if they negotiate that with you and they say, hey, I'm gonna pay, let me give you half up front. Like, let them be the ones to tell you that. Because if you come out the gate and just say, I need half as a down payment, that person who was making, like, you got to think about what we talked about. The person who's going to be making no payments, they're going to be like, man, nah, man, this dude tripping. When have you ever seen half of an amount or something offered to you within real estate? You're never going to see it. It's on a percentage based type deal, whether it's 20%, or even if it's, like I said, let them be a person who offer you that and cut that check. You know what I'm saying? Let them check and throw that out there. Hey, I'll give you half up front. Oh, okay. But you want to be more business savvy and have yours set up more in a better structure, to where you got some cash flow coming in at a lower amount, to where it's affordable for people. You know what I mean? Because that person is going to be, you know, like Ms. Nikisha said, they may be a person who can't afford 20% down. But so what they ain't gonna be able to afford the half, but you can have that as an option. That's why I said we're gonna have so many options on how we know they can get the property, but we want to give them in our contract 3 of the best options. Offering them half, that ain't gonna be the best option, because you got to think logically, they may not have that in their bank account to give me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if I would have caught them around this time, maybe like a year or two ago, when that PPP money was floating around, I probably would have got some people like that. But given that PPP loan money done slowed down, and the government ain't giving no more stimulus checks and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be, I can't operate like that with people. It's back to normal basic living. You know what I mean? It's back to
I got
reality, you know.
that
So
makes sense.
giving them the three best options, give them some options that's affordable. You know what I mean? We still a problem solution based type company, so we looking to solve problems and help people. That's how you want to keep that focus um, from here on out. So
So
I
all
lead
of
got
this, I have a question. All of this, what you was talking about, that's subject to.
yes,
Okay.
that's subject to. All of that is subject to.
Got it.
Sweet. So for the last 15 minutes, I want to talk about the lead management part. Um, and understanding and knowing now, since everybody is having leads, we talked about at one point how it would take us to get to what our number is, right? Our goal. And setting a goal for yourself, it shows you how much work it will take to be put into what it is that you're doing. Um, so that it won't make you feel like it's wasting any type of time. So for me, this year I set my goal mark to make $100,000 in my business, right? So I understood and I knew exactly what it was that I had to do in order to be able to achieve 100,000. So I want you to pick a number in your head, uh, uh, and I want you. I'm gonna give you probably like the next 20 seconds to just pick a number in your head, think on that number, sit on that number, and then when I ask you that number, we're gonna break down together what it's going to take based upon um, how we're going to acquire properties, how we're going to go about seeking deals. Um, the hard work is going to take and the effort is going to take to be able to reach that number. So think about it for a second. Just let that number resonate in your mind of how much it is you want to make from this not from this point on to we could say towards the end of the year. We don't have that long towards the end of the year, but we still have time to be able to do something. So if you can go from this point to the end of the year and give yourself a logical number, what will that number be?
My number to the end of this year would be, I'd say 20,000.
You say $20,000, right? Okay.
Yes.
So for $20,000, what we would have to do, Mr. Kimber, what's your number?
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure.
You don't know how much money you want to make by this point on to the end of the year?
Um, I'll say double what I make now. I'm gonna say 40,000.
You want to make $40,000?
I make double what I make on my job.
Double what you make on your job. Okay. So let's start with $20,000. We're gonna find $40,000 with us focusing on the 20,000. So in this business, we understand and know in this business, we understand and know that mm, it's going to take a lot of hard work and effort, right? So the thing is, based upon my numbers and what I have, and how much I've marketed and the amount of money I made, I can give you an indication on how much it will take you to reach this number or the number that it is that you all are both seeking. So, say for instance, you do. Let me pull out my paper because now we got to get into the real numbers, right? Give me 1 second. All right. So if we trying to make money for every 100 properties, we're gonna do this off of just every 100. Out of every 100 properties, you will get at least 45 responses. And this is just not targeting people who are FSBOs. This is targeting purely straight vacant homes, driving for dollar type deals. FSBO is a whole strategy by itself, because they're simply already motivated. But just extracting properties just purely off the gristle. 45 responses, right? Out of those 45 responses, you're gonna go on, think about it. What's the main thing we always try to set? Appointments, right? You're
Right.
gonna go on 15 appointments. You're gonna get 5 contracts. You're gonna close 1. So for every 100 properties you do, you're gonna get about 45 responses, right? People gonna hit you up, hit you back. They're gonna negotiate with you. You're gonna be able to set about 15 appointments. Out of those 45, you're gonna get 5 of them that's gonna be under contract, right? Because they're gonna be solid out of those 15, because every one of them not gonna be solid. It's gonna have a lot of contingencies that the way you're trying to do the deal as a wholesaler, won't be able to get into. And then out of those 5, you probably gonna end up closing like 1. So your numbers have to be up in a sense. That's why I say early on when we first started, this is a numbers game. But you can beat that numbers game if you're operating, depending on the pace of how you operating, the track of how you operating, and how organized you stay. Because you could get so caught up in going all in different ways of trying to do deals, because you're quickly trying to make money, and you lose focusing on one way of trying to obtain deals. That's why I want y'all to focus on solely how to wholesale a deal, wholesale. Not focusing on just trying to hurry up and get a deal, but actually focus on how to wholesale a deal. Because any deal you will see, if you understand wholesaling really good, that you could wholesale damn near almost anything that can be wholesale. And then some stuff you'll understand and know that it couldn't be wholesale based on, the structure of how wholesaling is done. But the only way to really kind of know how that deal works, you'll understand like, damn, a lot of shit can be wholesale. It could. But the thing is, it just takes you doing a lot of work, yo, to understand that the numbers that I gotta really get to hit, that's just for $10,000, Nikisha. So if we wanted to make 20,000, 200 properties, we had to double everything. 200 properties, 90 responses, 30 appointments, 10 contracts, 2 closings. Now I made my 20,000, but it's the work that I gotta put in. You see the space, and what I mean by 200 properties, sometimes that's like on average. So you may still clear over 100 properties to find one deal. You may clear over 100. Hell, I cleared over thousands before I I found multiple deals. But then once you done cleared over thousands, you're gonna run into like 2, 3, 4, 5 deals at a time, and then it just keeps going. But it's all depending on your hunger and your drive to find these opportunities. That's how it depends, like your work ethic and your grind, and just staying organized with it. Finding the best way to be organized and stick to that. For me, the best way to be organized, because I was operating how I was operating. When I'm operating with people that's dealing in other areas and locations, I exercise Podio like hell. If I'm dealing with things that's like solely just from an investor standpoint and it's on me, I can't use Podio, because as an investor, I have other, I can't keep track of my property management stuff in Podio. You know what I'm saying? Podio is more so if I'm trying to do wholesale deals and stuff that's like that. But if you're operating as an investor, you got to find other systems and programs to help you with your property management. If you're doing it yourself, or you could pay a property manager to be able to cover some stuff for you. And I've ran through a couple of property managers. Um, yes, Mr. Kimball, you had raised your hand.
Oh, no, I was wiping something off the screen. But I do have a question. So to get a better understanding, you broke it down to Miss Keisha, what her 20,000 would be. So now I got a general idea what mine has to be. So I'm gonna go on the high side. So let's say I'd have to find 500, and then I'd have to go. Then the second number was 100 that you gave, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would double that to say 200, or just say 250, right?
What is the number that we're going after? What are we going after? Are we chasing
40
50,000, or are you chasing the 40,000?
40,000.
So for 40,000, yes.
So it'd have to be 500. So it'd be 500, 250, and then say 100. Just be on the high side, and then say 30. Because so basically for me to get 40,000, I'd have to wholesale at least 20 properties, right?
No.
Or 10 properties.
To make 40,000?
So it'd be because to close 4, it'd be 10,000 each, so it'd be 4, right? So I have to close on 4.
That's a yes. On average deal, wholesale deal is 10,000. It could be more, it could be less. But on average a deal is 10,000. So if you sticking to the $10,000 number, that's 4 deals you would have to do in order to make $10,000.
So to be on the safe side, average around 7 or 8.
7 or 8. What?
I'm just saying, what I'm saying is instead of just looking for the 4, so the more I find, the better off, the more odds that I have. I'm going by odds. So if
Yes,
the more,
going by odds. Yes. So
that's what I'm saying. So instead of just
it's a numbers game, because you got to think about it. Even though you found them, that doesn't necessarily mean
right,
it's going to be a deal. You know what I mean? The
right.
numbers can be perfect as hell, but it has to be up to that homeowner to be like, yeah, I want to, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and lock it in and do it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so instead of, while you're going through the process of finding your leads and finding your deals, you got to understand and know, the more that I find, the more that I build up my database, my candidate base, the more that I build that up with opportunities, guess what? Even though it didn't close, even though that person may not have been ready um today, they may be ready 3 months from now. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
may be ready 6 months from now. Like I told you, I did a deal with a lady all the way in Augusta, right? I marketed back to her back in October of last year. You know what I'm saying? And she hit me back all the way, what it was like 4 or 5 months later. She hit me back, and I'm like, Miss Barbara, oh, I didn't know who she was at first. She talking to me like that was the only person that I ever sent a message to try to get a deal from. Like I was supposed to know that it was her, exactly like calling me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because you don't want to just be focused on just like one deal. You want to be able to keep going. So the more that you find, the more opportunities that you find, right? And the more that you putting in that work, the more that you're going to have opportunities to close out on deals. That's
got
just really real. That's why I also taught us a way to be able to think from a sniper standpoint, right? Um, of us being able to do it, breaking it down, right? And saying that, hey, I know my numbers got to be good, but if I break my numbers down and focus on what I can do monthly, weekly, daily, then I know I'll be able to reach some big numbers, but it may not be at a super mass rate, but it's could be at a pace that's big enough to where I can fill a database of opportunities. And what I mean by that is if you say, okay, I'm gonna spend time enough to where I find at least uh 50 properties a week. 50 a week, right? If you find 50 a week and multiply that by four, how much is that? Think about it. That's in a month.
so it's about 7 a day.
You break it down in the days, that's in a day. 7 houses a day.
That should be 49 a week. So basically 7 or 8 a day, no less than 7 a day.
7 houses a day. You set that goal for yourself. You do that monthly. You know what you're getting from a monthly sense. Now you multiply that times 12. This is how much, this is how many properties that you should have in your database by the end of the year.
So 600, roughly.
You gonna have 600
I mean, 50 a
by the
month.
end of the year.
50 a month or 50 a week. Yeah, it'd be 200. So it'd be 2,400. Excuse me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
50 a week. 50 a week. 200 a month. Two times 12 is 24. So it'd be 2,400. Excuse me.
so. You should have. That's a. You don't think you'll have any kind of deal out of 2,400 properties? Let's just be real with ourselves.
I
Like
think so. I think so. But as far as, I think you'll get some deals out of it. But as far as, I mean, 2,400, I
do
mean, it may
you think
sound like a lot.
do you think you'll reach 40,000 out of 2,400 properties?
I think it's possible.
Keisha, do you think you'll reach 20,000 out of 2,400 properties?
Absolutely.
I know for sure. For damn sure I'll reach $40,000 out of 2,400 properties. 2,400. Now we're talking a numbers game. So if 2,400 properties, how much money should we have based off of my criteria of 100 properties, 45 responses, 15 appointments, 5 contracts, 1 closing, $10,000 every 100 properties. So if you got every every 100 properties is 1 closing. So if you got 2,400 properties, how many closings should you have? Easy. 24.
24.
Easy.
So 240,000.
This real estate. It's all about your KPIs, key performance indicators. You got to find out what makes your shit thrive. Like what makes people respond to your stuff. Like how you're marketing. Like you have to stay on it. If you consistently stay on it, you will see significant change in your life. You have to remain consistent. Even in times that you don't even want to fucking, you feel like I'm not getting no deal, I'm not getting no nothing because it's gonna be that time. But that's where I feel like you be tested the most in a sense of seeing like, is this really what you want? You know what I mean? Bro, I literally went a year. This is my story. Like my story. I went a year without doing a deal. I told people that. I went a whole year. But I want to help people to not go a whole year because I was by myself when I was doing this.
I
I didn't
understand.
have a mentor, nobody to teach me the game or nothing like that. I learned everything on my own. So, and I've always been that type of person to go and learn on my own. So I learned it, right? But it took me a year because I had analysis paralysis. It took me an entire year. So I don't want it to take you an entire year. But what I'm saying is that that year, it built me to be able to sustain times of even when it's not working at that opportune time. And what I mean by that is like, say I can go 3 months and not see a deal, but I know in month five, six, seven, eight, nine, I'm gonna run the bag up like crazy. Why? Because I went through a year of not seeing anything, but I still remained consistent, dedicated, sacrificed. I still kept giving my all. That's the thing of never quitting. A lot of people quit on a lot of stuff because they don't see the return that they're looking for, and it's not instant. But the thing is you got to understand and know that, hey, what are you here for? What's your why? You know what I mean? You got to, what's your why? Why did you log in today? Why do you want to find these properties? Why do you want to make $40,000? Why? What is your why? Let that shit match up and be in alignment with how you go about your everyday life. You set a goal in the market, a number for yourself. This is 40,000. I need to make 40,000. I need to make that this year. I got from this point on to the end of December. From this point on to the end of December to make my 40,000. From this point on to the end of December to make my $20,000. From this point on to the end of the year to I make my 100,000. 150. 150. Um, so you have to set it up, you know, to where I gotta now put this in alignment with how I go about my business and how I go about wanting to go after what it is that I want to do. So in doing this, guys, understand and know that the more you do, you gotta hold each other accountable. Hold each other accountable. Um, I'm gonna hold myself accountable, and I'm gonna hold you all accountable because we want to reach these numbers. We want to reach these goals, if not more. And the best way, like I said, to do that is by understanding and knowing what joint venture is, JVing. Joint venturing is something that's important, because a lot of us that are in this industry, we do it together, and that's what it's about. Coming together and understanding that, hey, team building is all about having people that come together to be a part of a team to help you reach your goals. Because I could be honest with y'all, everything that I have and what I'm doing, I damn sure didn't do it by myself. Like I had to go out and connect with the right people. For one, to help teach me the shit because I wasn't, and then also connect with the right people to help guide me into certain areas so that while I'm doing what I'm doing, I can remain focused on what it is that I'm doing. Because it's all about being consistent, right?
Yeah.
About being consistent. So even when it's not hitting for you, understand and know that hey, I gotta keep going. 'Cause there's more opportunity, there's more. Even when the homeowners say no, guess what? It don't matter. Your one no. You know what I'm saying? I got 50 other no's, that I may be walking into, but at least I know that hey, I could go and find 100, and all 100 can tell me no. Are you gonna be built enough to go get the next 100? That's all I want to know.
It's a good question.
If 100 people tell you no, who you done went to, you gonna go get the next 100? I am. Why? Because I mean, this is what I do. You feel me? I understand what my why is. My why is my kids. You feel me? So I gotta keep going. They gotta eat. So if I'm gonna be stuck on a motherfucker telling me no, one no, 100 no's, when I understand and know, damn, I at least gotta get at least 2,400 no's. You know what I'm saying? To even be like, damn, all them told me no. That's I will wait till I at least did over 2,400 to be like, all right, now I'm a little bit mad because all these people done told me no, but that don't mean I'm not gonna keep going. Miss Keisha, help us a little bit. Talk to us about how do you persevere through whatever job it is that you may do in customer service when people may tell you no on an upsell. How many no's you get on an upsell, or if you do
Um,
anything with upsells? I don't know.
I get a lot of no's on a daily basis. I get attitudes. I get a lot of crazy stuff. But being in call center work for the last 15 years, at this point, it's just words coming out of my mouth. Sometimes I let it round me up and I go back and forth with them, but I've learned not to go back and forth. The faster I can get you off my phone because you're not trying to take whatever it is I'm trying to sell you, the next person may. So you can't dwell on the one person. Um, Move on.
Move on. That's right. So that's all I want us to understand. That's what it's going to be about. If you follow in the syllabus, you'll see where we are. Um, where we talking about team building and things, lead management and things of that sort. That understanding and knowing coming to coming together could be something that could be a benefit, for those of you who feel as though, hey, like I'm still at a place where I'm not fully set to run a full operation on my own, but I'm learning how, and I want to learn how to run an operation on my own because that's what I wanted to teach you. Starting, this whole entire thing is how to build an operation. But once we all get there, because we all are a part of this academy, and like I said, once we enter into new level academy, we here for life, right? We're a family. We're here for life. So within that, that's why I still want us to be able to move at a good enough pace and understand and know, even after the 4 weeks, um, and you did pay for the 4 week. Even after the 4 weeks, you entered into, a lifetime membership, um, a lifetime membership with New Level, and we can now go and work together to do deals, to execute, to learn more about real estate, increase our knowledge and everything, and be a family, be winners. That's what we want to be. We want to be winners. So we're gonna carry ourselves as such, and we're gonna treat each other as such. Why? Because when Justin wins, Keisha wins, Jeremy wins. We all win. When Keisha wins, Justin wins, Jeremy wins. We all win. That's what it's about. Keeping each other uplifted, keeping each other accountable, holding each other accountable, In a sense, I'm gonna create. Go ahead and do our group creation. Um, Not under Mighty Networks, but this is going to be through. How many of you all have Telegram already? Kisha, do you have Telegram? Do you have Telegram, Justin?
No,
Um,
sir.
I'm gonna send you all an invite. Don't worry
What is
about
Telegram?
downloading it. Huh?
What is Telegram?
Telegram is it's an app where it's like a text messaging app, group text, group response, things of that sort. Um, I'm gonna have it for us. I'm gonna create a little group for us so that we can respond to each other. Therefore, whatever questions or anything it is that one may have, if a person can respond through that individual within that group chat, that'd be cool. Also, you can add people who is interested. Say, for instance, if they are interested in real estate and interested in what it is that we have going, they can enter into the Telegram app to kind of get a little bit of a view and a feel of how we operate as a family. Um, Through keeping in contact with each other, holding each other accountable within whatever deals or whatever it is that we may be looking for, or what we may put out there, as far as what our goals are in a sense. So I'm gonna have that link set up and sent out to you all, so you can just follow the link and add it, and we'll go from there. And
Okay.
Friday, be ready for Hot Seat Friday. By that point in time, everybody should go back and check the task of what it is that you may have that's a task for you that's in Podio. Go back and check the task. So complete the task by whatever time it is that's set. You want to have the task completed, and then once you have the task completed by Friday, um, I want us to start making contact. Like, we're gonna have the first half. We probably well, no, we're gonna wait till next week. We'll wait till next week on the contact part. Friday, we're gonna play a little game Friday, um, and it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be Hot Seat Friday, so be ready. Um, Come with smiles and showing all 12 of y'all teeth, you know. So, but we're gonna play a little game Friday.
All 10.
Yeah, all 10. Um,
Two of
but it's
mine
gonna
guys.
be
I
really
got two of
cool.
mine missing in the back.
Oh Lord, don't oof. Somebody over there looking like they got about, oh, don't try to hide them now.
Oh, they in the back here. You can't even see 'em. And two of them fake right on the sides.
Oh, oh. I ain't gonna let you know all about mine. I got all 48. However many you supposed to have, 48. I got all 48.
You got
Look,
too
look,
many, don't you? Ain't you only supposed to have 32?
look, you might not have enough.
No, I think you got too many, friend.
Like, you might not have enough. I don't know. Somebody need to Google this. How many teeth are you supposed to have? Like, that's a good one. Um, I don't know. You got me curious. Like, I really want to go find this out real quick. Let me ask. Let me see. The
Yeah,
average
bruh,
human had. Oh,
32. You
you're
got too
right.
many.
Oh well. Hey, well, I do got. You know what I'm saying? I feel like two grew on top of the other back there in the back. Back there. But nah, I got all 32 of mine with a little space in the middle. But other than that, yeah, we're gonna play a little game and be ready for that, and we're gonna go from there. So good job, man. Y'all did some good work this week. Some really good work this week, with getting the leads and everything going. Um, Justin,
Yes, sir.
What are you supposed to do when you import your leads from this point?
Put the address on them and make sure that is correct.
Yeah, we want to put it in the oh Lord, the location tab, right?
Location tab. Okay.
When we do it in candidates, we want to put it in the location tab. I'm gonna see if I made that right adjustment.
Yeah, you sent me a message uh to correct that.
So what I'm gonna do, I deleted the property address part, right?
Yeah.
So now when you go in to import the address, you're just gonna put it in the location automatically because that's gonna be the first tab, and then it should pull up the whole entire rest of the address for you and put it as a map in Google, a Google map of it,
Okay.
right up here for it.
Oh,
So that should help you out a little bit.
all right. I got you. Appreciate it.
And other than that, Miss Keisha, your 45, 45, 49,
20.
20. Yeah.
Well, no, because I
40.
got to do my entire list, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's 45.
45. When did you plan on starting that?
In the morning, I go back to work Friday.
In the morning? Okay, then cool. Okay, so in the morning, you start on your 45. All right, cool. And then Mr. Kimball, you locking in on yours solid. So understand
Well, how
whatever it
many did you
is,
want me to
guys.
get this time?
Huh?
How many did you want me to get this time? I got 20. I got 30 fairly easily. So I need to
That's up
give
to
me
you,
something a little bit more
man.
challenging.
You
Huh?
have now you have look, now you have the system to now import whatever it is that you find. And when you find them, you just need to notify me, send a task or something to notify me that hey, I found or send a task and say, hey, look, check it, check me out, or send, or you gotta let me know. You feel me? But you
All right.
got now the system to just sit here and import them bad boys. Cause you know what I'm gonna be doing when you import them, I'm gonna be trying to keep up pace. Cause I had to keep up pace today to make sure that I went through every single one on the day. Cause I ain't want you to come out of nowhere and drop another 30 on me. You feel me? Now I gotta
Hey, I
go
might
through,
have 30 right now on another list.
hey, if you built like that, then you'll go ahead and put them in here and see what I'm
All
made
right.
of.
All
If you
right, then
built
I'll go ahead
like
and put
that,
them on when I get off the
don't
phone then. How about
don't
that?
be about it. You know what I'm saying? Because as you see right
All
here,
right. All right.
if you see right here,
I'm
last
about to buzz you
edited.
up then,
Hold
sis. I'm
on,
about
let
to
me
buzz
help
you
you
up.
out.
I'm going to take that
You want
challenge.
to talk a little trash, like you built like that. I don't think you really
Oh,
built like that. I
no,
think you
I
just
don't back down for no challenge. I
look
go in hard. I go
as
hard
you
every
can
day to
see.
dig some
Hold
ditches.
on. As you can see, what does it say? Last edited by Jeremy Flanagan. Jeremy Flanagan. Jeremy Flanagan. I ain't hesitate. I ain't hesitate on nothing. I ain't hesitate on nothing. I went through every single one of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm on it. Oh, well, that's all the ones. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, all 29. I'm sorry. Last edited by Jeremy Flanagan. You see it right here. So I play keep up, bro.
I
I
got you.
don't get behind on work. So you
I
come with
got
them 30, drop them. That's all I'm
you.
gonna
I
say.
got you.
Drop them.
All right, I got you.
Out of those 29 though, 15 of them, I believe are the good ones.
Okay.
So
So I'm gonna go by after work Friday. I got another spot I need to
let's
check
do
out
this.
because huh?
You said what now, sir?
Said Friday I got to go. I'm gonna try to go down there tomorrow after work. We ain't working late, and I gotta